cited Comey's handling of the Clinton email investigation, and the president told McCabe he fired Comey for that reason. But the facts surrounding Comey's handling of the Clinton email investigation were well known to the president at the time he assumed office, and the president had made it clear to both Comey and the president's senior staff in early 2017 that he wanted Comey to stay on as director. And Rosenstein articulated his criticism of Comey's handling of the Clinton investigation after the president had already decided to fire Comey. The president's draft termination letter also stated that morale in the FBI was at an all-time low, and Sanders told the press after Comey's termination that the White House had heard from countless FBI agents who had lost confidence in Comey. But the evidence does not support those claims. The president told Comey at their January 27 dinner that the people of the FBI really like him. No evidence suggests that the president had heard otherwise before deciding to terminate Comey, and Sanders acknowledged to investigators that her comments were not founded on anything. We also considered why it was important to the president that Comey announced publicly that he was not under investigation. Some evidence indicates that the president believed that the erroneous perception he was under investigation harmed his ability to manage domestic and foreign affairs, particularly in dealings with Russia. The president told Comey that the cloud of this Russia business was making it difficult to run the country. The president told Sessions and McGahn that foreign leaders had expressed sympathy to him for being under investigation, and that the perception he was under investigation was hurting his ability to address foreign relations issues. The president complained to Rogers that the thing with the Russians was messing up his ability to get things done with Russia, and told Coates, "I can't do anything with Russia. There's things I'd like to do with Russia, with trade, with ISIS. They're all over me with this." The president also may have viewed Comey as insubordinate for his failure to make clear in the May 3 testimony that the president was not under investigation. Other evidence, however, indicates that the president wanted to protect himself from an investigation into his campaign. The day after learning about the FBI's interview of Flynn, the president had a one-on-one dinner with Comey against the advice of senior aides and told Comey he needed Comey's loyalty. When the president later asked Comey for a second time to make public that he was not under investigation, he brought up loyalty again, saying, "Because I have been very loyal to you, very loyal. We had that thing, you know." After the president learned of Sessions' recusal from the Russia investigation, the president was furious and said he wanted an attorney general who would protect him the way he perceived Robert Kennedy and Eric Holder to have protected their presidents. The president also said he wanted to be able to tell his attorney general who to investigate. In addition, the president had a motive to put the FBI's Russia investigation behind him. The evidence does not establish that the termination of Comey was designed to cover up a conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia. As described in Volume 1, the evidence uncovered in the investigation did not establish that the president or those close to him were involved in the charged Russian computer hacking or active measure conspiracies, or that the president otherwise had an unlawful relationship with any Russian official. But the evidence does indicate that a thorough FBI investigation would uncover facts about the campaign and the president personally that the president could have understood to be crimes, or that would give rise to personal and political concerns. Although the president publicly stated during and after the election that he had no connection to Russia, the Trump Organization, through Michael Cohen, was pursuing the proposed Trump Tower Moscow project through June 2016, and candidate Trump was repeatedly briefed on the progress of those efforts. In addition, some witnesses said Trump was aware that, and the next line is redacted, at a time when public reports stated that Russian intelligence officials were behind the hacks and that Trump privately sought information about future WikiLeaks releases. More broadly, multiple witnesses described the president's preoccupation with press coverage of the Russia investigation and his persistent concern that it raised questions about the legitimacy of his election. In addition to whether the president had a motive related to Russia-related matters that an FBI investigation could uncover, we considered whether the president's intent in firing Comey was connected to other conduct that could come to light as a result of the FBI's Russia interference investigation. In particular, Michael Cohen was a potential subject of investigation because of his pursuit of the Trump Tower Moscow project and involvement in other activities. And facts uncovered in the Russia investigation, which our office referred to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, ultimately led to the conviction of Cohen in the Southern District of New York for campaign finance offenses related to payments he said he made at the direction of the president. See Volume 2, Section 2K5. The investigation, however, did not establish that when the president fired Comey, he was considering the possibility that the FBI's investigation would uncover these payments, or that the president's intent in firing Comey was otherwise connected to a concern about these matters coming to light. Finally, the president and White House aides initially advanced a pretextual reason to the press and the public for Comey's termination. In the immediate aftermath of the firing, the president dictated a press statement suggesting that he had acted based on the Department of Justice recommendations, and White House press officials repeated that story. But the president had decided to fire Comey before the White House solicited those recommendations. Although the president ultimately acknowledged that he was going to fire Comey regardless of the Department of Justice's recommendations, he did so only after Department of Justice officials made clear to him that they would resist the White House's suggestion that they had prompted the process that led to Comey's termination. The initial reliance on pretextual justification could support an inference that the president had concerns about providing the real reason for the firing, although the evidence does not resolve whether those concerns were personal, political, or both. E. The president's efforts to remove the special counsel. Overview. The acting attorney general appointed a special counsel on May 17, 2017, prompting the president to state that it was the end of his presidency and that Attorney General Sessions had failed to protect him and should resign. Sessions submitted his resignation, which the president ultimately did not accept. The president told senior advisors that the special counsel had conflicts of interest, but they responded that those claims were, quote, ridiculous, and posed no obstacle to the special counsel's service. Department of Justice ethics officials similarly cleared the special counsel's service. On June 14, 2017, the press reported that the president was being personally investigated for obstruction of justice, and the president responded with a series of tweets criticizing the special counsel's investigation. That weekend, the president called McGahn and directed him to have the special counsel removed because of asserted conflicts of interest. McGahn did not carry out the instruction for fear of being seen as triggering another Saturday night massacre and instead prepared to resign. McGahn ultimately did not quit, and the president did not follow up with McGahn on his request to have the special counsel removed. Evidence. 1. The appointment of the special counsel and the president's reaction. On May 17, 2017, Acting Attorney General Rosenstein appointed Robert S. Mueller III as special counsel and authorized him to conduct the Russia investigation and matters that arose from the investigation. The president learned of the special counsel's appointment from Sessions, who was with the president, Hunt, and McGahn conducting interviews for a new FBI director. Sessions stepped out of the Oval Office to take a call from Rosenstein, who told him about the special counsel appointment, and Sessions then returned to inform the president of the news. According to notes written by Hunt, when Sessions told the president that a special counsel had been appointed, The president slumped back in his chair and said, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. I'm fucked." The president became angry and lambasted the attorney general for his decision to recuse from the investigation, stating, "How could you let this happen, Jeff?" The president said the position of attorney general was his most important appointment and that Sessions had let him down, contrasting him to Eric Holder and Robert Kennedy. Sessions recalled that the president said to him, "You were supposed to protect me," or words to that effect. The president returned to the consequences of the appointment and said, "Everyone tells me if you get one of these independent counsels, it ruins your presidency. It takes years and years and I won't be able to do anything. This is the worst thing that ever happened to me."